Hi everyone, it's Lindey. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a Motivation Monday video. It's a little bit different than what I usually do. Usually every single Monday I go live and we have a live discussion about a topic, but this week unfortunately I could not stream live, but I still wanted to bring you guys some motivating information for the week ahead. Today's topic is inspired by something that I have learned over the years that I've been a reseller, and that is don't force it. Now, there are a lot of ways to be a reseller. You can pretty much buy and resell anything that you can imagine. You can resell potato chips. You can resell a used car part. You can sell a tube of lipstick, or you can sell a doodad that was found in the back of your junk drawer. There are lots of ways to be a reseller, and if you are inspired to build your own reselling business by selling something and making money from home, then you have to be the one to determine what exactly you are interested in selling. But sometimes that's not always an easy task. Sometimes you want to become a reseller and work from home, but you really have no niche that you're interested in. And when that happens, you need to find what kind of products sell the best for you and what kind of products that you can easily source. And those could come really easily to you, or they can prove to be more of a challenge. But when you are on that journey, the one bit of advice that I can give to you is do not force it. So now here's exactly what I mean by this. When I decided to start growing my reselling business, I knew that I was going to have a challenge with sourcing because I live in a very rural area where there's not a lot of option for me to go out and handpick merchandise to resell. And I feel like a big mistake that I made very early on was watching what other people were doing a little bit too much and trying to replicate exactly what they were selling. If I saw someone going to a garage sale and picking up something random and flipping it for 40 bucks on eBay, I tried doing that. I saw someone going to the Goodwill bins and pulling clothing for 99 cents a pound and flipping it on eBay. Tried doing that. Saw someone selling mystery boxes online. Try buying those. It was really hard for me to find the niche that worked the best for me because I kept trying to force it. Because I saw other people selling certain things, I felt like I had to sell those same things too. Because if it worked for them, it would work for me, right? Right? No, not really. So just because you see one person selling designer clothing and killing it, doesn't mean that you can do it too. Just because you see somebody buying things for 10 cents at a garage sale and flipping it on eBay, doesn't mean that you will too. And I spent so many precious years of my reselling business trying to force the kind of merchandise that I was going to sell. I realize now that I was doing myself a serious disservice. I wasted so much time trying to sell the things that I saw other people succeeding at and fighting it when it just wasn't working for me. I saw somebody make a lot of money selling plushes and stuffed animals on eBay, and so I tried to buy every single stuffed animal and plush that I could find at the thrift stores or garage sales, but no matter what I tried, I couldn't get them to sell as well as these other people could. Same thing with neckties. I tried buying and selling neckties and I just couldn't move them. I built an entire business out of selling jeans because I saw other people doing it. And while I did have a lot of success selling jeans, it was nothing compared to the success that I have seen when I started to finally sell something that I didn't have to force. It literally took me years of burning myself out, forcing myself to list and try to sell merchandise that was never truly easy, to finally see that I needed to do something different because it wasn't working. I'm a very firm believer in the idea that if you are having to try too hard, you're doing the wrong thing. If you're going against the current, you're doing the wrong thing. I've had lots of life experiences that I really don't want to get into in this moment, but what all of those life experience taught me was this: if you have to try too hard to make it work, it's not the right thing. When you finally find the right thing, that is when it suddenly becomes easy. Not only in all things having to do with how your life flows, but also in your business. If you're trying to source and sell merchandise that proves to be a challenge time and time again, that means you're forcing it and it might not be the right thing for you. Now, I'm not saying that the whole reselling thing isn't for you. I'm saying maybe those kind of products aren't for you. And I'm also not saying that it could be a matter of having something list and never sell. I'm also saying trying to buy things and never actually getting around to listing them for sale is the same thing as forcing it. You guys, I sourced merchandise that never got listed on eBay more times than I care to admit publicly. There was so many times I sourced merchandise and ended up just redonating it because I never actually listed it for sale because I was trying to force it. I was trying to buy and resell the things that other people had me convinced was the right thing to buy and resell, when all I did was tie up capital because I never got it listed. You want to know why? Because I didn't want to sell it. It is so much easier to list and sell items that you genuinely have a passion for versus buying and selling the items that you couldn't care less about. Because the only items that are going to sell are the ones that you get listed. And if you couldn't care less about the items that are sitting waiting to be listed, they're probably never going to get listed, which means they're never going to sell. So if you're currently sourcing things and never actually listing it, you're probably forcing it. If you're trying to list an item and you're absolutely hating doing it, you're probably forcing it. And now, of course, the question, how long do you force it before you just quit it? Well, I could tell you from experience that I quit it a little too quickly in the past. So I've been a full-time seller now for 4 years, but I have sold off and on the eBay platform over the last 14 years. That means that I spent a total of a decade over the last 14 years I have had experience being a reseller, just starting and stopping, which is also kind of referred to as being a hobbyist seller. It means that you might list something here and there, or you might take a really long break, but you're not actively running a full-fledged reselling business. For 10 years of my reselling career, I started and stopped way too frequently because I gave up too quick. So point being, I'm not saying if you're forcing it for 2 weeks, that means that it's not a good fit and you should quit trying to sell those kind of products. That's not what I'm saying at all. You and only you are able to determine how long you are forcing it before you decide to pivot and move on to a different kind of item. For me, it was a little over 2 years of selling clothing before I finally realized it's just not working. I'm forcing it way too much. I need to do something else. For you, it could be selling a certain kind of product for 5 years before you realize I'm forcing it. I need to try something else. Or you might struggle with it for 6 months before you decide, hey, I'm officially forcing it. I need to try something else. Because here's the thing. If I have learned one thing about talking to other resellers, it is this. One of the driving factors of being a reseller is the idea of having some sort of financial freedom to own and operate our own home businesses. That alone comes with enough stress. We don't need any added stress of forcing something that is harder than it's supposed to be. We should be enjoying the idea of running our own business and producing our own money to support ourselves. So when you spend too much time forcing it, it takes all of that enjoyment away. I don't know about you, but if I'm going to have the stress of a job, then I'll just go get a job. A lot of us become resellers because we want the privilege of working from home and making our own money. That is fun. But when you take away the enjoyment by forcing too much of it, it's not fun anymore. So that's the time when you would need to decide if you're forcing it too much and if you need to pivot and go to another direction so that you can get your enjoyment back. And now again, when I talk about not forcing it, it can be numerous different things. Trying to force selling a certain kind of product that you think is the best, but you're really struggling with either getting it listed or actually actually getting it sold. You could be forcing how you're currently trying to do your business model. You could be forcing listing on a platform that just isn't the best platform for the kind of merchandise you want to sell. Or you could be forcing the entire idea of running your own business at all. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I believe if you're having to force it too much, then something is not right. I forced myself to sell clothing for over 2 years, and it was only when I finally switched to something that I truly had a passion for that I started more than doubling my sales in a 30-day period. That to me is the definition of not forcing it. I actually work on my reselling business less and I generate more income just because I stopped forcing it and I pivoted to another kind of sourcing and another niche of merchandise that just performed better for me. And I truly believe that I would not have been able to grow my eBay business into a store that I am truly proud of if I would have kept forcing myself to sell the kind of merchandise I thought I was supposed to be selling, rather than selling the kind of merchandise that I was truly passionate about and I enjoyed. So if you find that you are having to force too much about your reselling business, chances are you need to pivot and try something else. And I'll say it again, just like with business in real life, if things aren't seeming to go easy, it might not be the right path. And so I'm not sure who needed to hear this message today, but I have a feeling that there's someone out there that needed to hear this message, or there's someone out there that needed the reassurance to know that it's okay to pivot. If something in your reselling business is not working, if something in your life is not working, it's okay to make a change and try to fix it. Sometimes there can be this idea that if you've put enough time, energy, and money into something, that you're not allowed to give up on it just because it might not be working right now. I am here to tell you that sometimes it's okay to change. It's okay to abandon a project that you've put time, energy, and money to if it's not working. Because I can tell you from experience, the more time that you spend forcing something that is not working for you is wasted time and energy on something else that could be working more easily. With all of that being said, I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your Monday. I hope everyone has a great week. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to check the video description. I will put some useful information in there. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And while you're down there, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already and ring the notification bell. That way you'll be notified whenever I post new content. Thank you guys again so much, and I will see you with my next video. Everybody be safe out there. Bye-bye.